This story isn't what you think it is. Well, now it is, I suppose. I've written many MCs about my adult life, teaching, running a drive-thru, you name it. Though I've referenced growing up with my father, this is the first time I've written about him directly. There has to be a statute of limitations on speaking Isle of the Dead. If these balls could talk, anyway, I'm about 11 years old in Germantown, the projects of Quincy, Massachusetts, living with my father. Anytime I've asked about my mom, I got shot down with a "she's a crazy bee" #TCH. My father had many vices. Tobacco seemed to play the biggest role in our lives and in keeping him relatively sane. Cigarettes lined up like a Clash of Clans skeletal army, warding off the much bigger, much more formidable beasts that lie ahead. Individually, a cigarette holds minimal power, yet a million times more power than none. This sad mathematical fact is what brings us to this story of the most malicious of compliances. When my dad ran out of the money he got for SSI and SSA, cigarettes became a problem, even in the late 80s. He would have me bum cigarettes from the neighbors. Some neighbors were generous. Some told me how vile it was for a father to send their child to get cigarettes. Some threw chicken bones at me. If I only had the wherewithal to reply, "Ma'am, I'm 11. Or at least duck. When it got really bad, he had me walk the town looking for cigarette butts that still had some tobacco left. This was a disgusting activity that I eventually got really good at. And really sick of. One night he sends me off on another tobacco mission, but I'm in the middle of a game of Monopoly. I'm playing with Chewbacca, Starscream, and Megatron, and it's about to get good. I argue to the point of my dad throwing a handful of shit #Thai coins at me, yelling in his raspy post-thyroidectomy voice, "Don't come back until you have cigarettes I can smoke." Enter MC. As blood trickles down my face, dripping onto a few dirty coins I managed to retain from their violent travels. I wonder what other crimes these coins have been complicit to. What have you done, little dime? I was done with all of it. As an 11-year-old, I had very little cards to play, but one of them landed right in my lap. I walked in the dead of night, directly up the unnamed dirt road my dad used to drive me down while sitting on the hood. Back when I was a few years younger. When I was his type. Am I ready to do this? I keep walking, seeing many cigarette butts and even an uncrushed pack, ignoring them all as I walk to the fire station. I know there's a pay phone there. And this time my dad's gonna pay. I look down at my coins, my bloody dime, and call my Aunt Stella. She told me earlier this year that anytime I needed help, call her. My dad always insisted I don't do this, or ever call her for anything, because all she wants to fucking do is rat me out and see me in jail so SHE can keep you. Sounds like a plan. When she picked up, she knew right away, but explained in way too much detail what happened the last few months and then years, even including the SA from my dad back when he was still into me. If these balls could talk. Anyway, I cried and tears well up even now remembering how it all just flowed out of me like a river of garbage falling over me. I knew this was gonna be big trouble if I didn't have the cigarettes, and I told her. She risked her life driving to us, pack of cigarettes in her hand as she picked me up and told me to stay in the car. Even through the closed windows of a Chevy Nova I could hear her yell, "Here's your fucking cigarettes, I'm taking up." The saddest SHT was that he took the cigarettes and turned around, no argument. He didn't even fight for me. I don't even know why, to this day, I even wanted him to. Aunt Stella did what I knew she would, call the cops on him and take me in. He went to jail, then eventually out of state after kids kept coming out of the woodwork who were his victims. I never looked back. Who am I kidding? I looked back every day since. TLDR, my dad said don't come back without getting cigarettes. I got him his older sister and a couple next little metal bracelets too.